Welcome back, Warrior. We're currently making breakfast for our soccer player, and we already sent one on their way to a activity for the children in our congregation. Here we go. Let me show you the breakfast. Nothing super fancy, but with soccer, you got to make sure they have good protein. Okay, we got his breakfast looking a little bit better. What do y'all think of this? These are for his allergies, because he has allergies. Obviously, we need some vitamins. This is his favorite. So, kind of some things we gotta have. And it's like a non-scheduled game. Anyway, we're gonna be reading Alma, chapter 54. Okay, so I'm trying not to let it make me sad, but my teenager does not want me to watch him play soccer. Maybe I've told you, because he says it's too much pressure. Well, truth be told, it's too much anxiety for me to watch, because I'm always yelling, trying to get him to do stuff. And I'm trying to be like strategic. I'm like, man on, and I'm trying to help all these things, and so I guess it makes sense that he might not want me there, but he also tells me he can't hear me yell. So I don't even know. Anyway, it's that time of the month, and so I'd rather be next to a bathroom, and they never have bathrooms at these places with soccer, because they're always like, oh, we're by a school, so the school's closed, or hey, we're over here on the far side of the park and it takes like 3 hours to get to the bathroom, or the bathroom's super gross. Anyway, so I'm trying to tell myself that it's okay that he doesn't want me to be there, because I can take advantage of time and do different things. So that's what I'm telling myself. Eventually, he'll probably, because my husband's like, deep down, he wants you there. I'm like, well, yeah. And he even says, like, it is too bad you weren't there yesterday, because I didn't go yesterday. I stayed with Flora. But yesterday, it was like a 2-hour away kind of a game. And anyway, he scored twice. And he was like, yeah, see, I scored twice when you weren't there. And he did say, but you would have at least recorded it, because I'm always trying to record something, So I don't know. But my husband's like, deep down, he really does want you there. And I'm like, yeah, but I want him to learn that people just can't go based on what he deep down wants, He had, like, if he communicates that he'd rather me not be there, then I want to honor that request. So anyways, like I said, I can take advantage of time. If he doesn't want me there, I'll just do something else, and I don't need to be upset, and I can fight those whispers that Satan's trying to send me, and know that, hey, he's just a teenage boy trying to figure out what he wants, and having his mom around sometimes might be too much pressure. I don't know. So I don't want it to be a bunch of pressure. Just want him to have fun. So here we go. Chapter 54 in the Book of Mormon says, Amram and Moroni negotiate for the exchange of prisoners. Moroni demands that the Lamanites withdraw and cease their murderous attacks. Amram demands that the Nephites lay down their arms and become subject to the Lamanites. Okay, gonna be big time here. Okay, we have 24 verses, so that's nice. I like it when it's that. Okay, and now I can take this off because it doesn't even fit right. And now it came to pass in the commencement of the 29th year of the judges that Amram sent unto Moroni, desiring that he would exchange prisoners. And it came to pass that Moroni felt to rejoice exceedingly at this request, for he desired the provisions which were imparted for the support of the Lamanite prisoners, for the support of his own people. And he also desired his own people for the strengthening of his army. Now the Lamanites had taken many women and children, and there was not a woman nor a child among all the prisoners of Moroni, or the prisoners whom Moroni had taken, Therefore, Moroni resolved upon a stratagem to obtain as many prisoners of the Nephites from the Lamanites as it were possible. Therefore, he wrote an epistle and sent it by the servant of Amram, the same who had brought an epistle to Moroni. Now these are the words which he wrote unto Amram, saying. I love that they kept track of that. Okay, so Amram is Amalickiah's brother, we remember, who was now the king of the Lamanites. And remember, Teancum was the one who killed Amalickiah. Anyways, so Amram asked Moroni to exchange prisoners. This was great news because caring for the Lamanite prisoners took their precious supplies. And Moroni would also like the Nephite prisoners back since it would strengthen his army. Also, like, it does seem crazy, but if they were your prisoners, you're being super nice by like feeding them or something because you're giving them supplies. Anyways, I guess it's because Moroni's not mean, right? And Moroni would also like the Nephite prisoners back since it would strengthen his army. However, a prisoner exchange was unacceptable because the Lamanites had been taking women and children as prisoners too, and Moroni wanted them released. So the Nephites only had Lamanite soldiers as prisoners. So if it was a prisoner for prisoner, the exchange would strengthen the Lamanite army more than the Nephite army. Plus, Moroni wanted as many prisoners released as possible. So Moroni came up with a plan. So this is the letter. So Moroni wrote Amram an epistle, made his position very clear, and once Amram received this letter, there would be no question where Moroni stood or what lengths he would go to. Through this letter, we can see that Moroni was completely committed to his cause. He had sworn an oath to protect his country, and nothing would stop him from fulfilling that oath, especially not a wicked man like Amram. Okay, so here we go. Sorry, let me read this quote and then we'll go to verse 5. So it's Elder Von J. Featherstone. He says, quote, in a letter to Amram, a warmongering chief of the Lamanites, we catch more of the spirit of this great man. As President Lee would have said, he wasn't a shrinking violet. There was no misunderstanding his message. It wasn't watered down or diluted. End quote. So we're going to see what this letter is, right? Sounds amazing already. Okay, so verse 5, start of the letter. Behold, Amram, I have written unto you somewhat concerning this war, which ye have waged against my people, or rather, which thy brother hath waged against them, and which ye are still determined to carry out after his death. Behold, I would tell you somewhat concerning the justice of God and the sword of his almighty wrath, which doth hang over you, except ye repent and withdraw your armies into your own lands, or the land of your possessions, which is the land of Nephi. Yea, I would tell you these things if you were capable of hearkening unto them. Yea, I would tell you concerning that awful hell that awaits to receive the murderers as thou and thy brother have been, except ye repent and withdraw your murderous purposes, and return with your armies to your own lands. But as ye have once rejected these things and have fought against the people of the Lord, even so I may expect you will do it again. And now, behold, we are prepared to receive you, and except you withdraw your purposes, behold, you will pull down the wrath of God, whom you have rejected upon you, even to your utter destruction. Sorry, I need to turn on my walk, I realize. But as the Lord liveth, so this is like a promise, or, our armies shall come upon you, except you withdraw, and ye shall soon be visited with death. For we will retain our cities and our lands, yea, and we will maintain our religion and our cause for our God. But behold, it supposeth me that I talk to you concerning these things in vain, or it supposeth me that thou art a child of hell. Oh man, I love the insults here. Therefore, I will close my epistle by telling you that I will not exchange prisoners, save it be on conditions that you will deliver up a man and his wife and his children for one prisoner. If this be the case, that ye will do it, I will exchange. And behold, if ye do not this, I will come against you with my armies. Yea, even I will arm my women and my children, and I will come against you, and I will follow you even into your own land, which is the land of our first inheritance. Yea, and it shall be blood for blood, yea, life for life, and I will give you battle even until you are destroyed from off the face of the earth. Isn't that amazing? I love Moroni. Behold, I am in my anger, and also my people, ye have sought to murder us, and we have also sought to defend ourselves. But behold, if ye seek to destroy us more, we will seek to destroy you. Yea, and we will seek our land and the land of our first inheritance. Now I close my epistle. I am Moroni. I am a leader of the people of the Nephites. And then, like, you just got to do like the Z formation, you know? Okay. Here we go. So I love that he did several things. You know, he's talking about he wants his whole, like a whole family for in exchange of a Nephite prisoner or Lamanite prisoner, which makes sense, right? So anyway, this is like some awesome stuff here. So Moroni was not diplomatic in his letter, nor was he being kind, or was he messing around. You know, he was being really forward, telling it how it is and how it's going to be, or else. He was being very bold and was not going to back down. He opened his letter by blaming this entire battle on his brother, which is kind of nice, I think, because then it kind of points out like how, like, why these, like, who it was that was responsible for these unnecessary deaths, and like why he's still continuing. Because it would be good to remind him, like, hey, you know what? He started it. I mean, maybe hopefully in his mind is like when Amram's reading this, he could be like, oh yeah, I don't actually have to keep this going, but I could also end it, right? So he was trying to throw the ball in his court, like, hey, this is up to you, you know, if you want to keep going. So Moroni was explaining how Amram and his brothers' souls were in jeopardy, and because since both Amram and Malachiah had been Nephites, they knew these truths, and Moroni was reminding him where their actions would lead. Also, it's so wild to me how these were original Nephites that were dissenters and then became Lamanites. And so it's like they leave the church, but they won't leave the church alone, right? That's what they say, you know? They can leave the church, but they can't leave it alone. Like, why can't you leave it alone? Like, is it because your soul is pained? Is that why? Is it because, you know, you don't have, like, if you don't believe in something, leave it alone. If I don't like peanut butter, I'm not gonna make petitions for other people not to eat peanut butter. I'm not going to slander peanut butter. I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna do hateful things to peanut butter, nor would I buy it if I don't like it. And I probably am going to try and stay really far away, right? So those are like the things. But somehow with religion, specifically ours, it's like when people don't like the religion, they don't just leave it. They don't just leave it alone. They seem to have this like bitterness rooted in them that they can't get rid of. And then they have to take it out on, like, somehow, you know? And it's like, what? Like, why? Like, just, if you don't like peanut butter, you don't want anything to do with it, leave it alone. Like, if you don't like swimming, you're not going to go swimming, you know? It's like so wild that, like, when you don't like things, you just leave them alone. But somehow, I think it's because people know deep down that it's true. And so you can't leave it alone because deep down, you know it's true. Watch, I might get some comments from the haters because that's what it is. You know, I'm selling peanut butter and they really hate peanut butter, but they really need to voice their opinion about peanut butter. That's like what it is. I don't know how else to explain it. That's like my comparison, because I don't waste my time on things that I don't like or things that I don't want, right? Like, I don't like peanut butter. I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to waste my time. What? Like, go spend your time, do something more productive with your life then, you know? Like, no, like, that's just what it is. Anyway, if you want to leave the church, great, you know? I still love you. You're still my sister. You're still my brother. whatever. But you don't have to like be all hateful, just be like, use your time to progress, do something else in your life that is awesome for you, that brings you joy, right? If you don't want, like, why are you even listening to me talking if you don't want anything to do with the gospel of Jesus Christ? If you don't like the Book of Mormon, this is not the video you should be watching. Like, that's just how it is, like, I'm not going to watch peanut butter videos if I hate peanut butter, Okay, so this exchange that Moroni laid out was not a suggestion. It was do this or be destroyed, which I love. Moroni would not compromise and he would not negotiate. We can see in this letter that Moroni would do whatever was necessary to defeat Ammoron. Surrendering was not an option. This is one reason why Moroni made such a great chief captain. He was not intimidated by the wickedness of his opponent, and he had sworn an oath to protect his nation, and he was not an oath breaker. And so he was one of those men of God that you just want in your family, that you just want as your protector, that you just want as like the man, right? This letter and entire battle demonstrated how much fighting Moroni was willing to enter into in order to defend their rights and liberties. He did not just sit back quietly and believe that God would protect them. He knew that it was their duty to do all they could. His letter did not say that Ammoron would, hold on, sweet, would be, oh, you found a shark tooth. Okay. Okay, thanks for throwing it in the trash. He did not just sit back quietly. Yeah, I don't even know how you found a shark tooth. He did not just sit back quietly and believe that God would protect them. He knew that it was their duty to do all that he could and all that they could. His letter did not say that Ammoron would be unsuccessful because God would not let their nation fall into Ammoron's hands, even though that's what we would want. Instead, his letter did lay out how fiercely every man, woman, and child would fight. And I think that's important for us to note too. It wasn't that he was like, I know God's going to protect us and he's going to make us win, but he knew that they were all going to fight. And that is something that that I love about Moroni. He didn't just assume that the battle was not in his hands. So, I'm just going to not worry because the Lord's going to protect us. That's not really how we play that out. We need to put in our time. We need to put in our dedication. We need to put in our strength. We need to push forward. We need, all these things are hard work. And then because of our hard work, our determination, because we put the Lord first, then it's possible that we could win, right? Moroni closed his letter stating his position and authority. He was not just any Nephite who was writing this. He was the man who the others would follow. He was the man in charge. You know what I mean? I love this. Moroni is the best. Seriously. Okay, we're going to pause right there because I have to pick up my other child from his primary activity that I dropped him off at. Okay, so as I'm pulling out to go pick him up, he's like walking home. That's how close we are. He could definitely walk. So it's amazing. It's amazing. I love when my kids can do things on their own and they can become self-sufficient. But it's also a little bit sad because that means they're growing up, right? All right, where were we? We're on verse 15. Okay, now it came to pass that Ammoron, also his name, Ammoron, Amoron, okay? I don't know what his name means in his language, but they should really, translate it into a bunch of languages so we can know what it means. Poor guy, his name now means a moron, he's a moron. Anyway, let's see how it plays out. Now it came to pass that Ammoron, when he had received this epistle, was angry, and he wrote another epistle unto Moroni. And these are the words which he wrote, saying, okay, so this is Ammoron. I am Ammoron, the king of the Lamanites. I am the brother of Amalickiah, whom ye have murdered. Behold, I will avenge his blood upon you. Yea, and I will come upon you with my armies, for I fear not your threatenings. So he's messed up too, because now they're all going to just try and kill each other for no reason. For behold, your fathers did wrong their brethren, insomuch that they did rob them of their right to the government when it rightly belonged unto them. Which is so funny, because who are they? They're Nephites, but they're dissenters. So anyway, that seems weird. And now behold, if you will lay down your arms and subject yourselves to be governed by those to whom the government doth rightly belong, then will I cause that my people shall lay down their weapons and shall be at war no more. Yeah, well, that's not going to happen. Did you hear, Moroni? Okay. Behold, ye have breathed out many threatenings against me and my people, but behold, we fear not your threatenings. Nevertheless, I will grant to exchange prisoners according to your request, gladly, that I may preserve my food for my men of war. I guess he was nice too and fed the Nephites. And we will wage a war which shall be eternal, either to the subjecting of the Nephites to our authority or to their eternal extinction. Wow. They both want to extinguish each other. But one of them has good reason. The other one, I don't even think he knows who he is, because Amram, he's like, doth rightly belong. He is a Nephite. It doth rightly belong to the Nephites. And he's fighting for the Lamanites, which nothing belongs to them anyway, because they're not being righteous. So they're not making good choices. Anyway, it's like so funny that he would be on their side and fighting for their cause when he's not even one of them. Okay. And as concerning that God whom ye say we have rejected, behold, we know not such a being, neither do ye. Okay, so first of all, you can say that we don't know anything, right? Like, we know not such a being. Yes, that's true, you don't, because if you did, then you wouldn't have dissented, right? But your testimony's not there, so you didn't nourish it. Anyway, and then it says, neither do ye. Now, that's where you can't speak. You can't tell other people what they know and what they don't know. Okay, but if it so be that there is such a being, see, now he's like, oh, okay, maybe though. We know not but that he hath made us as well as you. And if it so be that there is a devil and a hell, behold, he will not send you there to dwell with my brother. Wait, no. Behold, will he not send you there to dwell with my brother, whom ye have murdered, whom ye have hinted that he hath gone to such a place? But behold, these things matter not. So he's trying to say that, like, Moroni would go to the same place as Amalickiah, which is not true, because Amalickiah's got several chances to back down and not fight. But he was the one fighting, and so Moroni is protecting himself. And so, of course, it's not going to go down that way, When you fight out of anger and revenge and just pride, that's not a righteous desire in your heart. And so I don't know why he would think that, And Moroni was literally just trying to live a life that would not be threatened by his enemies, right? He just wants to, like, Moroni would not even fight if everybody was fine. If there was peace in the land, Moroni's not going around picking fights trying to take over other people's places, right? That's not how he is. He doesn't fight just because. Okay, so verse 23, I am Amram and a descendant of Zoram, who your fathers pressed and brought out of Jerusalem. Yeah, if he's a descendant of Zoram, he should be like, thank you for not letting me be a slave to some wicked king, or wicked ruler. And behold, now I am a bold Lamanite. Behold, this war hath been waged to avenge their wrongs and to maintain and to obtain their rights to the government. And I close my epistle to Moroni. That was the best he could do as like who he is. Descendant of Zoram. Not even the blood family, but Zoram. What? Like, nothing belongs to Zoram. He was like adopted in, And plus, he was with Nephi. He wanted to. So yeah. Okay, so anyway, so he ends the epistle. Okay, so this is some commentary from the redheaded hostess. Amram was angry and wrote back to Moroni, and his letter revealed some important things. In verse 17, Amram outlined the Lamanites' grievances toward the Nephites. This was the Nephites' great offense that justified the Lamanites coming to battle. Their fathers wronged their brethren and robbed them to their rights to govern, of their right to govern. Or in other words, Nephi robbed Laman and Lemuel. Their version of history was that Nephi was the bad guy and Laman and Lemuel were wronged, and this belief had created a hatred that had lasted all these hundreds of years. When the sons of Mosiah went to teach the Lamanites, they understood that they not only had to teach them the gospel, but they also needed to bring them to the knowledge of the baseness of the traditions of their fathers, which were not correct. Therefore, when Ammon taught King Lamoni the gospel, he also rehearsed unto them concerning the rebellions of Laman and Lemuel and the sons of Ishmael. Those stories were a part of their conversion and coming to a knowledge of the truth. The truth of their history mattered. Remember when King Lamoni met his father, the main king of all the land, upon the road? When his father saw that he was with Ammon, a Nephite, he was going to deliver more Nephites out of prison. His response was, Lamoni, thou art going to deliver these Nephites who are sons of a liar. Behold, he robbed our fathers. This was their view of all the Nephites, which is so crazy. Literally, you can't just blame people for what your great-great-great-grandparents did. You know what I mean? This letter revealed how deeply rooted, but obviously there are things that are handed down and prejudices and things like that. Because that's just how humanity works, and traditions and things like that, they do get handed down. So, but it's sad that hatred can also be handed down that way. This letter revealed how deeply rooted this hatred was among the Lamanites. Amram immediately mentioned it in his letter to justify why they were battling them after his introduction. It was the first thing he mentioned. It was not a point that Amram got to. It was the point. At least it was the main point to the Lamanites. However, Amram and his brother had just been using this grievance to gain power. They were Nephites, and they used it to stir up the Lamanites. Remember? Yeah, see, I'm glad we're all on the same page, because I was just like, you guys are messed up. You're not even Lamanites. You're Nephites. You have Nephite descendants. You're a descendant of Nephi. Anyway, these guys. Amram argued that if the Nephites would lay down their weapons and subject themselves to be governed by those to whom, and that just goes to show you that our lies that we create, we sometimes start to believe. And then it sounds really stupid later. Something I want to tell you. Okay. So back in the day, I wanted to be tall, and I can't remember. I think it was in my driver's license. I think it had to do then. So started way 16 years, 16 when I was 16. So I really wanted to be taller, all the supermodels are so tall, and everybody's you're more likable if you're taller, and just being taller is the thing, right? And even now, I know Finn's all wanting to be taller, and Faust is wanting to be tall. Everybody wants to be tall, okay? Even Flora. Anyway, so we all want to be taller. Anyway, I wanted to be so tall that I specified that I was 5'6" on my driver's license. That's my height. And either I was trying to be optimistic about that I was going to grow more, or that I really was trying to stand so straight up tall, which is fine because, normally all of us have a height that we just kind of stand to. And then there's a height where we can when you're standing up straight. So my stand up straight height is 5'5". Okay. Not 5'6", not 5'5.5", not. Anyway, and it was only until I was trying to figure out the intake for my calories and what my optimal calorie intake and macros and things like that were, that I was why does it feel like I'm eating so much food, or have to eat so much food or whatever? And anyway, they always have you plug in your height and your weight. And so I was I felt like I reached some kind of plateau after I was doing this food challenge that we were doing. And I was that's so weird. It feels like I'm eating way too much, although I did lose weight. I was eating way too much, and I had plateaued. Like I wasn't progressing. Anyway, so turns out that I went and something told me to go like measure my height again, and I did, and I was 5'5", and I was like literally shocked until I like remembered. I was like, I invented this lie upon myself. I had forgotten that I lied about my height way back when I was 16 because I wanted to be so much taller. And I was not 5'6", and I was 5'5". Finally, I put it, you think that wouldn't matter, okay? You think that wouldn't matter, but it changed all my numbers, and I started to see progress again, and I was like, that's crazy. And that's what happens when you lie, and you lie to yourself or lie to others. It comes back, and like the truth really is important. And so, obviously Amalickiah and now Amram are like lying to themselves. They're not Lamanites, they're Nephites, but they're trying to make it like they're Lamanites, right? Anyways, it's not gonna go good because they're lying to themselves and already, right? So anyway, I just thought that was a cool story. Wanted to share, kind of crazy. And I was like, I'm still floored at the fact that I lied for that long and believed it for so long. And I hadn't checked myself this whole time. Have I not checked myself? I'm pretty sure I've gone to the doctor many times since at least I was 16. But anyway, maybe I just never paid attention to like what they wrote down because I'm not my child and I don't pay attention to like my stuff. I pay attention to my children's things. I don't know. Anyway, it was awesome. Okay, so this letter, sorry, hold on. Oh yeah, so Amram argued that if the Nephites would lay down their weapons and subject themselves to be governed by those to whom the government doth rightly belong, then this war would end. This guy's messed up. If they surrendered themselves to be governed by a group that hated them, then the war would be over. Yeah, nobody's picking that. That was quite a deal, right? Nevertheless, Amram agreed to the exchange because he no longer wanted to feed all the prisoners and would like that food for his own soldiers. Good, at least he showed some kind of thought like smarts there, wisdom. Then Amram addressed Moroni's claims that hell was awaiting them and made sure to add Moroni to that same destination. Then Amram again repeated that they were fighting to avenge their wrongs and to maintain and to obtain their rights to the government. Everybody always wants to be popular, that's what it is. It's their pride, okay? So why were the Lamanites so angry with the Nephites? Because of Nephi, Laman, and Lemuel. That's because Nephi was obedient and Laman and Lemuel were not. And that's it. Why do you think Mormon included this grievance in the record? What are some important things we can learn from this? So many. Obviously, don't lie to yourself or others is my takeaway. Okay, so that is Alma chapter 54. Let me see what we have for our Read It, Live It. Okay, there is nothing in the Read It, Live It this time because they combined it with chapter 53, which we already read. So, okay, until Alma chapter 54, hello, this is Alma chapter 54. Until Alma chapter 55, stay strong, warrior.